All right. You already talked about this guy a little bit, so I'm not going to re-ask you the same question. Jalen Berger, I'm a big fan of his. I thought he had a good season last year, turned into almost a great season, especially towards the end. I'll ask you a different question about him then. Is the offensive line going to be able to give him any holes once he does get the ball this year?
I think so. Like, this is a great sign for Michigan State fans. So last year in the spring, it was famously said they only had 3 healthy offensive linemen. And when you hear that, it's like, okay, like 3 healthy offensive line for spring ball. Like, who cares? We'll be fine by the fall. It really seems like everyone's just trying to learn each other on the fly here. And Jalen's trying to get instated into this new offense, and the offensive line is really trying to learn themselves too. Look, it was a disaster last year in the offensive line, especially early on in the season. There's a lot of depth and a lot of talent on the offensive line this year. And I'm not going to go as far as saying, like, oh, they're a top 3 unit in the conference. Like, no, they could probably be like a 6th or 7th best unit in the conference. But at the end of last year, when the team started to gel, is when Jalen Berger started playing his best. I think in the last 4 or 5 games, he was at 5.3 yards per carry in those games. And that was even after like a game where he really didn't play against Penn State. He had an injury issue he was dealing with. So that was even with a wasted game. He was still putting up pretty good numbers to end the season. So, yeah, start the year, his first 7 games, I'm like, I don't really see it. This guy seems like a replacement level running back. And then, the last 4 or 5 games, you start to see the vision there. Now, what is going to be interesting is what's going to be the splits between the running backs.
Right.
Because I think it's actually Nathan Carter is going to be the starter here. And I'm not saying that with like confidence. Like, I think if I had to choose, that's going to be him. So I think it'll be like Nathan Carter gets 50% of the carries, Jalen Berger gets 40%, and then the other 10% goes like Jared Mangum and then any of the other guys. But yeah, I think he could just be a really, really good running back, and you can't have any shortage of that, especially for a Michigan State team that I think is going to be pretty run dominant this year. I mean, we'll have to wait and see if that's true, but yeah, I think that it's going to be a big season for Jalen Berger, even if he is the quote unquote second guy in the backfield.
I think that people need to change their like mindset on how they look at who's the first and second anyways, because most teams are doing that
Yeah.
all the way around the country. It's like you have 2 guys, you're going to use both of them.